Hello everyone, my name is Jason and I am an ISFP. You are watching my ISFP journey. Thank you so much for watching. In this video, I want to talk about alignment. Now, some of you who are role-playing game fans will know exactly what I mean when I talk about alignment. Some of you, however, may not know exactly what I mean. So for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, just very briefly, in some gaming systems, there is this concept of alignment. And alignment is sort of deciding what motivates a person or what motivates the character in the game, but based on their general demeanor. So let me give you some examples here. You have things like lawful, and that would be someone who follows the rules and has a very high regard for the law, the rules, the precepts, doing things the way that they're, supposed to be done, especially as it pertains to, society's view of how things are supposed to be done. You have people who are neutral. You have chaotic. You have good and bad. So there are different motivators, different driving factors that are supposed to be sort of guidance for the person who's playing the character to sort of inspire them or remind them that they should be making their decisions as they go throughout the game based on the general alignment of the character. And so I've seen many attempts to take that concept of alignment as it pertains to characters in a game and apply it to us as people, apply it to human beings. And I think it's really an applicable concept. I think it really does hold some water. We see as we go through life people who are chaotic. There's no structure to their life in a sense. But it really goes beyond that. Chaotic doesn't have to always mean bad chaos. There can be good chaos. There can be those who, they're chaotic in the sense that they do what they believe or what is appropriate in the situation according to the way they see it, though it may not be according to the exact rules of the society in which they are operating. We see lawful people, people who are committed to obeying and abiding by all of the rules and the laws that have been set upon them. We see people who are rather neutral. They don't seem to take a side. We see people who we would deem, generally speaking, as good, those who are engaged in the practices that benefit the society as a whole or benefit those around them. And then we see people that we would often classify as being bad. And those are people who, they put themselves first to the degree that they're willing to actually do harm to other people's property. And so these words can be put together to create different alignments. And then we can ask ourselves as people, if we were playing in a game, if we were characters in this game, what would our alignment be? And this really isn't, I don't believe, generally speaking, quite the same as it applies to, in the way it applies to us as it applies to characters in a game. Because when you're preparing a character in a game, the player who is going to be playing that character really, in most situations, in most game constructs, gets to choose that alignment. We get to choose our alignment as well. However, I think there's a degree to which our brain wiring sort of forces our alignment upon us. So we're more like the character that's being played in the sense that we didn't choose the alignment. We are operating according to the alignment that was chosen for us, or that we were born with, or that at the very least we have developed over time. And our decisions are, in a sense, we're making those decisions. We're making our daily decisions and the things we do based on that alignment. But also, in a sense, we only know our alignment when we stop and look back upon the history of our lives and we ask ourselves, how is it that we have behaved? If I had to slap an alignment label on my life and my behavior up to this point in my life, what would that alignment label be? And so I want to look at what I believe my alignment is and ask those of you who are ISFPs whether or not you agree with what I'm going to say from this point in the video forward. So please do leave comments after you've watched this and let me know if you agree with this as an ISFP or if not, because honestly, I'm not sure if what I'm about to say is really an ISFP thing or if it's just me. Okay, so let's talk about this. I believe my alignment would be chaotic good. Chaotic good. That's my alignment. Now, what does that mean? Well, I'm sure that if you were to look into different systems and ask different people, you would come up with different definitions for exactly what chaotic good is. But the definition that I've really settled on and that I like is this. Someone who is chaotic good does whatever is necessary to do what he or she believes is right. So first of all, let's talk about what he or she believes is right. It is not a surprise that someone with introverted feeling as his or her lead function would have a very strong sense, a very strong barometer and belief about what they believe to be right or wrong. We who have a strong introverted feeling, we usually come down hard on the side of this is what is right, this is what is wrong, this is what is good, this is what is bad. We are sometimes wishy-washy on it, but not frequently. And if the topic matters to us at all, it will not take us very long, usually, to stop being wishy-washy and to pick a side or to pick a position or to pick a belief on a topic and then really plant our flag in the sand and say, this is where I stand on this issue. I have a strong sense of rightness and wrongness, and I will stand by it. I will not be easily blown about by every wind of teaching. I will not easily be swayed by the masses. I will not easily be touched so much by the emotional appeals of others. No, I have seen clearly with my introverted feeling what is right, and I will stand by what is right. And even should the whole world stand against me, still will I stand. And still will I fight for this belief that I hold so dearly. Now, we who have FI very high, it's not that we establish such a strong belief on every point, because there are points that don't matter to us all that much. There are concepts out there, there are ideas out there that people are arguing over, arguing passionately over, that people care very deeply about that I may not care about at all. But the moment that I do care about something, whatever it may be, I care deeply and I believe deeply and I will stand firmly. Now, let's go to the chaotic side. I had said that chaotic good is the idea of, or the alignment of, the mindset of, I will do whatever it takes to do what is good. And you can imagine, I would think, I can imagine, and I don't need to imagine actually because I've seen it in my own life, that when a person believes so forcefully in the goodness of a thought, of a thing, or the rightness or the wrongness of an idea or of a concept, of a movement, of a belief system, when someone believes so strongly, then it is not difficult to imagine that that person would then therefore take whatever steps are necessary or go to whatever lengths to live out that principle, to manifest in one's daily behavior the truths that are encompassed and entangled in that idea. I believe very strongly in an idea, and therefore I must live my life in accordance with that idea which I believe. And I must do whatever is necessary in order to do that. Does that mean at times I have to alienate people in order to stand for what I believe is right? Yes. Does that mean at times that I offend people or that I cause people to look at me as some sort of oddball or weirdo? Does it mean at times that people will abandon me, will give up on me because they say, well, this person is so dedicated to this idea that he cares more about the idea than he cares about me as a person? Yes, there are times when that will happen. If you are a high FI user, I would think that there are going to be times in your life when you will stand so firmly for something that matters to you that you will lose acquaintances, friends over it. But that's sometimes what is necessary to do what is good or what is right. And while I'm not necessarily saying that everyone who does that has a strong sense of FI, introverted feeling, because many that is not the case for. There are many people who have done great things and have stood firm for a cause who do not have introverted feeling as one of their lead functions, or maybe it's not even in their top function stack at all. But it doesn't change the fact that the principle still, or the concept still, applies to anyone really who would have chaotic good as an alignment. The idea would be there is this truth that needs to be espoused in all of its aspects and needs to be worked thoroughly and firmly into not only my belief system, but into our community, our society as a whole, to make things better. And therefore, whatever I need to do to make sure that I bring that into fruition, to bring that to manifest, that I will do it. If you hate me, hate me. If you abandon me, abandon me. Whatever, I don't care. I must do whatever it takes to do what I believe is good. Now, I don't think that you're going to see ISFPs, even if all ISFPs are chaotic good, and I'm not saying they are, but even if they are, I'm not saying that you're going to see all ISFPs going through their life daily, living this way, practicing things like this, and abandoning people, because first of all, we only take these firm stands on select few issues, and second of all, we're not always being challenged, right? Like, I believe things very strongly, but frequently so do the people in my life. They believe the same thing, and so therefore I'm not being challenged on it. I'm not having to stand firm in that situation. I'm not having to fight against them. I'm not alienating them, and they're not going to abandon me because we agree. But when that time comes that I believe something so fully, or that I am so committed to an idea that I believe is good, or to a way of life that I believe is good, to a practice, to a daily activity, whatever it may be, when I believe so fully that something is good and is right, then I know that I have to stand firm for that thing, whatever it takes. I know that I must do anything and everything, no matter what it takes, to stick to what I believe is good. Now, I'm going to contrast that just a little bit with someone who is, let's say, neutral, or someone who is lawful. A person who is lawful may, I'm not saying all would, but a person who is lawful may obey the law and do whatever the law or the rules say, even at those times when obeying the law and obeying the rules cause them to go against something that is objectively good. I mean, we've all seen examples. You don't have to look very deep into history to see examples of people who are so committed to whatever the society tells them that they're supposed to do, that they will actually do evil things because that's what the society or the laws or the regulations or the rules push them to do. Sometimes the rules are evil. Sometimes the rules and the laws are wrong. And when the laws are evil and wrong, then someone like myself would say, you have to break it. You have to abandon that law. You have to break that law because you're going to have to break it in order to do what is good. You're going to have to violate that societal standard in order to do what is actually good, because the societal standard is bad. It's evil. It's wrong. And that's where someone with a high sense of FI like myself is constantly really examining the societal standards and the laws and saying, but are these really good? Whereas some others are more apt to fall in line with whatever those societal standards, the structure, the laws are. seeing themselves as good without necessarily trying to get past them to ask the question, are they actually born out of goodness or good thoughts? And or are they actually bringing about good when they're put into practice? Now, on the flip side of that, you can have someone who is, let's say, chaotic evil, right? You could have someone who will do whatever it takes to do what is evil. Or you could have chaotic neutral, which is really kind of like, I'll do whatever it takes to do what is best for me. And all of these are just different ways that people go through life and think. Is it really possible to say that any one of them is inherently bad in all of its aspects? Well, maybe chaotic evil, right? Like, I'll do anything in my power to do whatever is evil. Yeah, that would be bad. Maybe anything that has evil in it, I mean, by very definition, it has to be bad or it wouldn't have the word evil in it. But when it comes to the chaotic side or the neutral side or the lawful side, when it comes to the good or the neutral, sometimes it's hard to really say this is always a positive or this is always a negative. It just kind of depends on the situation. It just kind of depends on the person, the application, and how it all plays out in any given moment. But as for me, I believe I am chaotic good. So if you are an ISFP, please leave me a comment and let me know if you relate to this concept of being chaotic good. Or if you don't, let me know which concept of alignment you do relate to. And if you're any personality type and you just want to leave a comment, please do. I love your comments. I really appreciate all the comments that people leave. If you found this useful or entertaining or informational in any way, please give it a like. And if you have not already subscribed to this channel, would you please do so? I would really appreciate that. I did just hit 400 subscribers, so that was pretty cool. Thank you to all 400 of you who have subscribed. I really appreciate you. Keep being awesome and have an awesome day. Bye now.